Pink and blue flowers spill across my dining room table as I adjust each stem. The colors blur together while I squint at the tiny print on my latest checklist. Black ink marks trail down the page at 38 items checked off, only 4 to go. My phone buzzes against the wooden surface, another confirmation from the bakery about the gender-neutral cupcakes for Jenna's shower. Perfect. Everything's perfect. I run my fingers over the stack of party favors I designed myself, tiny silver picture frames with pressed flowers inside the glass. The morning sun catches the delicate petals just right, making them glow like stained glass windows. A smile tugs at my lips as I picture Jenna's face when she sees them. My phone chimes again. Rachel's name pops up on the screen. See you on Saturday at Jenna's shower. Can't wait. I frown at the message, my hand frozen above a spray of baby's breath. What do you mean? I type back. It's still 2 weeks away. 3 dots dance across my screen. Then, no, it's this Saturday. Just got the evite yesterday. The baby's breath stems snap between my fingers. 2 months ago, Jenna had sat in this very spot, her eyes brimming with tears as she clutched my hand. You're the only one I trust with this, she'd said. Mom keeps pushing for something traditional, but you understand what I want. I'd canceled my mountain getaway that weekend. Spent 3 nights researching gender-neutral themes that wouldn't offend Aunt Eleanor's sensibilities. Dipped into my own savings when the budget got tight, because Jenna deserved the perfect day. My fingers shake as I dial Aunt Eleanor's number. The ring echoes in my too-quiet house. Susan? Her voice carries that familiar note of forced patience. Is something wrong? I wanted to ask about Saturday. I keep my voice steady the way I do when reading to my 3rd graders. Is there something I should know? Oh, a pause. Probably just a mix-up with the evite. Don't make this a thing, Susan. The flowers blur again, but not from squinting this time. Aunt Eleanor. Did you hear about Carol's knee surgery? She interrupts. Terrible business. She'll be in recovery for weeks. I let her voice fade into background noise as I send another text to Jenna. The 5th one today. Still no response. My phone buzzes again. Rachel. Weren't you organizing this? She asks. Below her message, a screenshot of the event fills my screen. The shower invitation I designed. The exact wording I spent hours perfecting. Every mother-approved phrase, carefully chosen to bridge the gap between traditional and modern sensibilities. My eyes scan the guest list once, twice, 3 times. 43 names. Family. Friends. People I've known my whole life. Everyone except me. Something hot and sharp twists in my chest as I spot my cousin Amy's name, my sister Kate's, even Carol with her bad knee. The screen blurs completely, and I set the phone face down on the table. A petal falls from one of the roses, landing on my checklist. I've spent 2 months checking off boxes, making calls, comparing color swatches. 2 months of, you're the only one I trust. The lie tastes bitter in my memory. Outside my window, Mrs. Peterson walks her ancient golden retriever past my house, same as she has every morning for 15 years. The roses in her garden are starting to bloom. Everything normal, everything the same, while my dining room fills with decorations for a party I'm not invited to attend. My hand brushes against the party favors 43 tiny frames, each one wrapped in silver paper and tied with a hand-curled ribbon. 43 perfect little packages of love and effort, prepared by the uninvited planner. The room spins slightly as I stand. Somewhere in the distance, a door slams. A car starts. The world keeps turning while I stare at the ruins of 2 months of planning scattered across my dining room table. I touch my stomach still flat, though not for much longer. My own secret, not yet ready to share with a family that could discard me so easily. A family that could ask for everything and then shut the door in my face. The first tear splashes onto the nearest checklist, smearing the careful black marks into gray shadows. All those boxes checked. All those calls made. All those nights spent planning. And in the end, not even worth an invitation. Rachel's last text buzzes against my hip. Just saw the guest list on Facebook. Your name isn't there? What's going on? My fingers hover over the phone screen. A notification from Instagram pops up, Jenna's mother-in-law Linda sharing shower preparation photos. The caption reads, "Taking charge of my first grandbaby celebration. Traditional done right." Taking charge. The words sink into like stones. I scroll through the comments, each one a fresh wound. Linda responding to compliments about her vision for the party. Her careful explanation about keeping it intimate with close family and friends. Close family. The phrase echoes as I stare at the 43 party favors spread across my dining room table. 43 silver frames, each containing a pressed flower I'd gathered myself. 43 carefully curled ribbons in the exact shade of silver that Jenna had loved. My phone rings. Amy's name flashes on the screen. Susan? My cousin's voice carries that particular tone she uses when she's trying to soften a blow. Mom wanted me to check if you got the message about Saturday. Which message would that be? The words come out steady. Too steady. Teacher voice steady. About stepping back? A rustle of movement. Since you helped plan everything, Mom said you would mind. The silver frame in my hand catches the morning light. A forget-me-not pressed between the glass panes stares up at me like some cosmic joke. Did Jenna say that? Oh. Amy's pause stretches. I thought, well, you know how Linda can be. And Jenna didn't want to make waves. Didn't want to make waves. I hung up on her. I set the frame down before my trembling hands can drop it. 2 months of late nights. Canceled plans. 3 separate vendor meetings to get the exact shade of buttercream frosting Jenna wanted for her cupcakes. My phone buzzes again. Kate this time. Tell me you've seen the Facebook post. My sister spits before I can speak. This is absolutely unacceptable. I'm calling Mom right now. Kate? No, they can't treat you like this. Rachel's already messaging everyone about boycotting. A strange laugh bubbles up in my throat. Please don't. Susan Marie Bennett, for once in your life, let someone fight for you. The sun streams through my window, warming the back of my neck. Mrs. Peterson's golden retriever barks from her garden, the same garden where I'd gathered half the flowers pressed into these frames. This isn't about making a scene, I say quietly. Then what is it about? My eyes drift to the laptop on my counter. The browser's still open to Coastal Bed and Breakfasts, the trip I'd planned months ago, before Jenna's tears and Linda's opinions and Aunt Eleanor's careful exclusions. It's about choosing myself, for once. Kate's breath catches. What are you going to do? My cursor hovers over the Book Now button for a small inn overlooking the Atlantic. The description promises private beach access and quiet mornings watching the sunrise. 1 click. Susan? Another click, a local photographer's website. Her portfolio shows women on the beach at sunset, their faces glowing with something that looks like freedom. I'm going to take a trip, I say, typing my credit card information. The one I canceled for the shower planning. But, could you do me a favor? My voice stays gentle as I book the photography session. Would you drop the decorations at Aunt Eleanor's tomorrow? I'll leave everything labeled. A long pause. Then, you're really doing this? The confirmation email chimes in my inbox. Saturday at sunset, the photographer will meet me at the beach. Just me, my baby bump, and the waves. I stand, my legs steadier than they've been all morning. The expensive dress I'd bought for the shower hangs in my closet, all lace and careful coordination with the party colors. My hands brush past it, reaching instead for my most comfortable sweater and jeans. I'm really doing this. Later in my bedroom, the packing takes less than an hour. Simple clothes, my favorite books, the journal I haven't had time to write in since Jenna first asked for help. My phone lights up with notifications: Aunt Eleanor, Linda, even Jenna finally breaking her silence. I turn the notifications off, one by one. Family group chat, social media, email. Silence settles over my house like a blessing. The gifts I'd wrap sit in neat rows on my dining room table, topped with detailed instructions for setup. A final post-it note marks the vendor contact list of everything anyone would need to create the shower Jenna wanted. The shower I'd planned down to the last silver-wrapped chocolate. My car keys feel solid in my palm. Through the window, I watch the sun painting my garden in shades of possibility. The same garden where I'd pressed flowers for 43 frames, never questioning why I wasn't on the guest list. The front door clicks shut behind me. I set off quietly. My overnight bag settles into the passenger seat like an old friend. Windows down. Freedom rushing past my face. My rearview mirror shrinks the house until it disappears around the bend, taking with it 2 months of planning someone else's perfect day. I touch my stomach, feeling the flutter of movement that's become more noticeable lately. Just you and me, little one. Just you and me. The highway stretches ahead, empty in the early morning light. I turn up the radio, letting the music drown out the last echoes of family expectations. Some celebrations, it turns out, require no audience at all. After a couple of hours of driving now finally, salt air rushes through my open windows as I follow the winding coastal road. Each curve takes me further from the familiar grid of suburban streets, from neatly arranged flower centerpieces and meticulously planned celebrations. My shoulders drop an inch with every mile marker. My accommodation appears around the final bend, like something from a 1950s postcard: white clapboard siding, green shutters, an American flag rippling in the breeze. No one here knows about shower plans or family expectations or carefully crafted guest lists. Mrs. O'Malley meets me at the door, her silver hair caught up in a loose bun that reminds me of my grandmother. "Welcome to Harborview." She hands me an actual metal key, not a plastic card. "The ocean has a way of putting things in perspective, dear." In my room, I unzip my weekend bag and pull out the leather-bound notebook filled with 2 months of shower planning. Guest counts, vendor contacts, budget spreadsheets, page after page of careful notes for an event I won't attend. The drawer of the bedside table clicks shut over my abandoned plans. I went out to eat something, took a long shower, and went to bed, tired of driving. The next morning after breakfast, I found myself walking barefoot in wet sand, my phone locked in the room safe. Tiny waves lap at my ankles. A sandpiper darts away from the surf, leaving delicate tracks that vanish with each rush of water. Back home, they'll be discovering what's missing. The custom party favors still sitting in their boxes. The detailed vendor instructions that were never delivered. The backup plans for rain, for Aunt Margaret's food allergies, for keeping Uncle Joe and Cousin Pete at separate tables, all those little details tucked away in my notebook. I imagine Jenna's face when the caterer asks who's coordinating. Picture Aunt Eleanor realizing no one confirmed the flower delivery. Their phones lighting up with my number, calls going straight to voicemail. The photographer finds me near the pier the same morning. Linda's somewhere in her 70s, with laugh lines around her eyes and a camera that looks older than I am. "You must be Susan." She gestures to a canvas bag slung over her shoulder. "I brought a few things if you'd like to change." The white dress she offers catches the sea breeze, floating around my calves like sea foam. My hands settle instinctively over the very small swell of my belly 5 months along, only now starting to show. Linda's camera clicks softly. "Beautiful," she murmurs. "Now look toward the horizon, just like that." The sun warms my face. Waves whisper against the shore. For the first time in weeks, my smile comes without effort. After the photo shooting was over, I returned to my room. My phone shows 12 missed calls when I return to my room. Texts stack up like building blocks. "Where are the party favors?" Caterer says no one gave final head count. "Did you forget to confirm the tent rental?" "Jenna's crying in bathroom. Please call." I ignore them all and take a small nap. In the evening, the sun paints the waves in shades of pink and gold as I sit on the weathered deck of a small seafood restaurant. The owner, Bob, brings me a cup of decaf coffee without asking. "You look like you could use this, sweetheart." He reminds me of my father, the way he moves with unhurried purpose, the slight gravel in his voice. I watch him chat with other customers, calling most by name. No family drama here. No carefully coordinated social schedules. Just people sharing meals and stories as the tide rolls in. A small shop down the street sells leather journals, their covers soft as butter. The blank pages invite honesty. Some celebrations require no audience. The words flow easier than any shower toast I drafted. My phone buzzes. Linda's email contains a single photo attachment. I open it, breath-catching. The woman in the image stands at the water's edge, white dress dancing in the wind. One hand rests on her belly, the other lifted slightly toward the horizon. Her face holds something I haven't seen in my mirror for months. Peace. Strength. The quiet certainty of someone who knows exactly where she belongs. As if in answer, the baby kicks just a flutter, like a moth's wing against my palm. A private celebration, shared between just the two of us. I order a slice of blueberry pie and watch the last colors fade from the sky. Somewhere inland, my family discovers what it means to take someone for granted. Here, by the ocean, I discover what it means to choose myself. The pie tastes like summer nights and second chances. I savor every bite. I look at my pictures again, even more resolute to keep this piece only for the two of us, me and my baby. I go the the shop first, then for a walk around the beach, enjoying this peaceful moment, and go back to the room. The next morning, the sunlight streams through gauzy curtains in my bed and breakfast room, casting gentle shadows across the weathered hardwood floor. My phone lights up again. The screen shows 47 missed calls, each one a tiny accusation blinking up at me. Rachel's text comes with screenshots. Aunt Eleanor's Facebook post glows with carefully crafted concern. So disappointed some key family members couldn't attend Jenna's special day. Family should always come first. 3 laughing emoji reactions. 17 sympathetic comments. I scroll past links to Instagram stories showing confused guests and half-empty tables. Kate's message pops up. You wouldn't believe this disaster, Susan. Nobody knew where anything went. Mom kept asking about the party favors. Jenna burst into tears when the caterer brought chocolate cupcakes instead of the gender-neutral ones you ordered. The bed creaks as I sink onto its edge. Outside my window, seagulls wheel against the morning sky, their cries carrying across the quiet beach. My hands rest on my stomach, still flat enough that nobody would guess my secret. The baby shifts, a flutter so slight I might have imagined it. My voicemail icon blinks. Aunt Eleanor's voice fills the room, dripping with honey-coated venom. Susan, darling, if you really cared about Jenna, you would have been here anyway. That's what family does. We show up. The message cuts off. Another begins. Jenna, her voice thick with tears. Mom said you were too busy to come. I didn't know. Susan, please call me back. My mother's familiar tone follows, the same one she used when I got a B+ in high school. Family comes first, no matter what. You know that, Susan. You've always known that. The group text from my cousins buzzes through. Don't you think you're being a little sensitive about this? Amy writes. It was probably just an oversight with the Evit. Sarah chimes in. You could have asked for an invitation if it meant that much to you. The morning light catches the stack of photos on my bedside table. The photographer delivered them last night, prints from our sunrise session on the beach. I pick up the black and white one on top. In it, I stand at the water's edge, my dress billowing in the wind, one hand resting gently on my stomach. My face is turned toward the horizon, a small smile playing at my lips. My writing desk sits by the window, stocked with the stationery I bought yesterday from that little shop in town before going for a walk. I select 5 cards, each one decorated with pressed flowers that remind me of the ones I'd chosen for Jenna's shower. The irony doesn't escape me. The pen flows smoothly as I write notes to the people who've shown me real friendship through this. Rachel, Kate, my colleague Linda, the women from my book club who texted their support without demanding explanations. I pause before composing my message to Jenna. The words come slowly, each one carefully chosen. I wish you and the baby well. I hope your day was special. My phone buzzes again. I let it go to voicemail. Messages trickle in throughout the morning. Linda forwards me a conversation from her neighborhood Facebook group, apparently Mrs. Peterson, who's known our family for 30 years, commented on Aunt Eleanor's post. How could they exclude the very person who planned everything? Shameful. The comment thread exploded. Reactions from family friends. Questions about my absence. Jenna's vague responses that satisfied no one. My mother's name appears on my screen again. Her voice has shifted, uncertainty creeping in where authority used to live. Perhaps there's been a misunderstanding, Susan. Why don't we all sit down and talk about this? The balcony beckons. I step outside, letting the salt air fill my lungs. Waves crash against the shore below, their rhythm steady and unconcerned with family drama. My phone weighs heavy in my hand, messages still pouring in. The photographer's final email arrives with a soft chime. Full collection attached. She writes, You have such a beautiful glow about you. Whatever brought you to my beach, I'm glad it did. I open the photos one by one. Me walking barefoot in the surf, laughing as waves catch the hem of my dress, sitting in the sand with my journal. Each image radiates a peace I hadn't felt in years. The last photo stops me cold. The camera caught the exact moment a wave crashed behind me, sending spray into the golden morning light. I'm looking down, both hands cradling my stomach, a quiet joy illuminating my face. My phone buzzes. Another message from Aunt Eleanor. Another plea from Jenna. Another family member asking me to be reasonable, to understand, to put the past behind us. I set the phone face down on the balcony table. Below me, children build sandcastles at the water's edge. A pair of dolphins break the surface further out, their fins catching the sunlight. The ocean stretches endless and blue toward the horizon. The baby moves again, stronger this time. A definite flutter like butterfly wings. Their approval is no longer my responsibility, I whisper to the waves, to my child, to myself. The words settle into my bones, light as sea foam, solid as stone. 5 days later, the drama was over, but not completely over. I came back on Wednesday and found pink roses spill over the edges of a crystal vase on my porch. The card tucked between the blooms bears Jenna's looping handwriting. I let them sit there while I brew my tea, petals wilting in the August sun. My phone buzzes. Aunt Eleanor's number flashes on the screen, followed by a text. Lunch at the club tomorrow? Time to clear the air, dear. The tea scalds my tongue. 3 more messages arrive in quick succession. Mom announcing she'll pop by this afternoon. Jenna's husband Tom claiming a terrible misunderstanding. And Kate warning me they're planning an ambush. I leave the roses where they are and drive to work. I need to meet my clients first, then I will see how to keep my peace. For both me and my little one. When I return home after never-ending meetings and presentations, 4 cars line my narrow street. My mother's silver Buick, Aunt Eleanor's white Cadillac, Jenna's sensible SUV, and Tom's red pickup truck. They didn't wait for my answer about lunch. The scent of my mother's butter cookies wafts through my screen door. They've let themselves in. Of course they have. I rest one hand on my barely visible bump, gathering strength from the flutter of movement within. Your first lesson in boundaries, I whisper, then push open the door. They've arranged themselves in my living room like a theatrical tableau. Mom in my reading chair, Aunt Eleanor perched on the sofa, Jenna and Tom together on the love seat. The plate of cookies sits untouched on my coffee table. Susan. Mom rises, arms outstretched. We've been waiting. I see that. I remain in the doorway, though I don't recall inviting anyone over. Aunt Eleanor's lips purse. Don't be difficult, dear. We're here to clear the air. The air was perfectly clear at the baby shower. My voice stays quiet, steady. When 43 guests celebrated while I sat home with my unused decorations. About that. Jenna's fingers twist in her lap. I thought you knew you were invited. I really did. I cross to my desk and pull out the manila folder I've kept since that day. From it, I remove a single printed page, the Evite with its cheerful design. My design. The one I created 2 months before anyone else saw it. I have the original file on my computer. I say, laying it on the coffee table. Timestamped 2 months ago, and here I point to the guest list is the version you sent out. Would you like to show me where my name appears? Silence fills the room like summer storm clouds, heavy, electric. We never meant to hurt you. Aunt Eleanor's voice carries that familiar note of forced patience, the one that used to make me question my own feelings. These things happen in families. Yes. I settle into the last empty chair, smoothing my skirt. They do happen. For years they've happened. I've planned 6 showers, 4 weddings, and 12 graduation parties. I've coordinated every family reunion since Dad died. And each time something disappeared, my name from a program, my photo from a collage, my contribution from a speech. Now Susan. Mom reaches for a cookie, her hand trembling slightly. Family means respect. The words come out clear and strong, surprising even me. It means acknowledging each other's worth, not just their usefulness. Jenna's eyes fill with tears. Real ones this time, not the manipulative drops I've seen so often before. We can fix this. We'll throw another shower, a proper one, with you as the guest of honor. I shake my head. No. No? Aunt Eleanor's eyebrows arch toward her perfectly styled hair. After all this fuss, you'll refuse a peace offering? I'm not interested in peace offerings. I rest my hands on my rounded belly, drawing strength from the life growing within. I'm interested in change. Real change. From now on, my relationships will include mutual respect or they won't include me at all. That's ridiculous. Aunt Eleanor stamps, her voice sharp. We're family. You can't just... I can. I remain seated, calm. I can choose what I accept. I can decide who has access to my life, my home, my child. Your child? Mom's voice cracks. Susan, what are you saying? I meet each of their eyes in turn. I'm saying that patterns only continue if we let them. I'm saying my child will grow up understanding their own worth isn't measured by how useful they are to others. But the photos. Jenna leans forward. The beautiful beach photos everyone's talking about. You'll share those now, won't you? To show there are no hard feelings? A small smile touches my lips. Some celebrations aren't for public consumption. Those photos are for me, and eventually, for my child. A reminder that joy doesn't always need an audience. Tom shifts uncomfortably. Susan, be reasonable. Eleanor and Margaret only wanted. I know what they wanted. I stand slowly, one hand still cradling my belly. They wanted what they've always wanted. Control wrapped in tradition, tied with a ribbon of guilt. But I'm not accepting those gifts anymore. You'll regret this. Aunt Eleanor's voice wavers between anger and disbelief. Cutting yourself off from family. I'm not cutting myself off. I walk to the door and open it wide. I'm setting terms for staying connected. You can accept them or not. The choice is yours. They file out one by one. Mom pauses in the doorway, her face etched with confusion and something that might be dawning respect. Susan, I know, Mom. I touch her arm gently. Take some time. Think about what kind of grandmother you want to be. Then call me. The door closes with a soft click. Through my window, I watch them cluster on my sidewalk, their gestures sharp with agitation. Aunt Eleanor's voice carries faintly. Ungrateful and hormonal. And this isn't over. But it is over. The old way is over. I gather the untouched cookies and carry them to my kitchen. The roses still wait on my porch, wilting in their crystal prison. I lift them carefully and carry them to my garden, scattering their petals among my growing things. Some flowers bloom better in freedom than in fancy vases. Some people do too. Upstairs in my quiet bedroom, I open my laptop and click on my favorite beach photo. Sunday and sea and solitude. Peace in my eyes that no family gathering has ever given me. My phone buzzes with messages I don't read. Tomorrow I'll begin teaching them how to respect my boundaries. Tonight belongs to me, and the tiny heart beating beneath mine, the one who taught me it was time to bloom on my own terms. The phone's constant buzzing is a reminder of the noise I'm learning to shut out. Each unread message is a boundary newly drawn, a quiet act of reclaiming space. That space, both literal and emotional, finds form in the nursery first real creation for us. At the present, sea green ripples across the nursery walls, fading into gentle coral near the ceiling. I run my palm over the dried paint, remembering that perfect sunset at the beach a month ago. The colors speak of possibilities now, not memories of betrayal. My belly bumps against the changing table as I adjust a silver picture frame. The black and white photo catches morning light, me standing at the shoreline, wrap dress billowing, face turned toward the horizon. Not the posed maternity shots my mother suggested, all soft focus and forced smiles. This one speaks truth. Solitude choosing strength. The doorbell chimes downstairs. Rachel's early, as usual. I hear her familiar footsteps, then the rustle of bags. Susan, you up here hiding from your own shower again? Just finishing touches. I smooth the ocean-themed quilt one last time. Everything ready downstairs? Kate's handling the food setup. Your mom called, by the way. My hand's still on the fabric. And? Same story. Aunt Eleanor's still saying you overreacted about Jenna's shower. But who cares? Today's about you and this little one. I touch my rounded belly, feeling a flutter of movement. A month along now, and every kick reminds me why boundaries matter. The invitation list for today sits in my desk drawer, 15 names instead of 43. Quality over quantity, as my third graders would say. My phone buzzes. Jenna's name appears with a text. I know it's your shower today. I understand if you don't want me there, but I wanted you to know I'm thinking of you. The nursery photos you posted look beautiful. A month ago, that message would have sent me spiraling into guilt and second-guessing. Now I simply read it, acknowledged the genuine tone, and set the phone aside. Some bridges need time before rebuilding. Susan? Kate appears in the doorway, hands on hips. The guests will be here in 20 minutes. Stop obsessing over perfection and come downstairs. I'm not obsessing, I gesture at the carefully arranged stuffed animals. Obsessing. She grins. Some things never change, but some things do. She crosses the room and hugs me from the side. Remember when Mom said you'd regret not having a traditional family shower? I snort. Right after she said I'd regret choosing single motherhood. And look at you now. Kate steps back, studies my face. I've never seen you so centered. The word fits. The past month in my mother's support group has taught me new vocabulary for old feelings. Words like boundaries and self-advocacy that once felt selfish now feel like protection for myself and my child. Downstairs, Rachel's arranged photographs on the entry table. Me with my reading group at school, a sunset beach walk, my first ultrasound. The story of choosing myself, choosing motherhood on my terms, laid out in pictures. The journal sits beside them, leather cover worn from daily use. Inside, entries track my journey from people pleaser to boundary setter. Last night's entry reads, "Some family members still don't understand. That's okay. Understanding myself matters more." The doorbell rings again. Before Kate can move, I stride forward and open it wide. On my doorstep stands Mrs. Peterson from next door, the same neighbor who walked her dog past my window that awful morning 6 months ago. "Susan, dear." She holds out a wrapped package. "I know I'm early, but I wanted a moment to tell you something." I usher her inside, this woman who's watched our neighborhood stories unfold for 30 years. "I saw you that day," she says, settling onto my couch. "Loading up your car at dawn, tissue box on the passenger seat. And I saw you return 5 days later, standing straighter." She pats my hand. "My mother used to say, sometimes the family you choose sees you clearer than the family you're born to." My throat tightens. "Would you like some tea, Mrs. Peterson?" "What I'd like is to see that nursery everyone's talking about." We climb the stairs together, her pace unhurried. In the doorway, she pauses, taking in the sunset colors, the carefully chosen books, the single beach photo. "Perfect," she declares, "just like its mother." I start to demur out of habit, then catch myself. "Thank you. I love how it turned out." More voices drift up from below. My chosen family arriving, bearing casseroles and wisdom and acceptance. No passive-aggressive comments about single motherhood. No subtle digs about family tradition. My hand drifts to the small wooden box on the dresser. Inside, that beach photo rests beside my boundary-setting journal and a letter I'm writing to my child. When the ones who should cherish forget your worth, last night's entry begins. It's time to remember it yourself. The afternoon unfolds exactly as planned. 15 chairs filled with people who chose to stay when I chose myself. We eat Kate's famous spinach dip, swap labor stories ranging from heartwarming to horrifying, and play baby-themed games that somehow don't feel forced. No one mentions Jenna's shower. No one suggests I should have waited for marriage. No one says, "But there's still family," when I describe my new boundaries. Later, after the last guest leaves, I rock in the nursery's white wooden chair. The sound machine fills the room with gentle waves. Outside my window, Mrs. Peterson walks her ancient retriever past the house, same as always. She waves up at me, and I wave back. My daughter kicks, strong and sure. I rest both hands on my belly, watching sunset colors paint the walls in shades of possibility. "Some traditions," I whispered to her, "aren't worth keeping." The waves wash through the room, constant as a heartbeat. "But some are worth creating. And sweetheart, we get to choose which ones." In the fading light, my beach photo catches a final golden ray. The woman in the image faces forward, toward a horizon she chose herself. Behind her, the tide washes away footprints, leaving the sand smooth and ready for new paths. I rock, and plan, and dream of the traditions we'll build together, my daughter and I. They won't include obligation disguised as love. They won't require earning a place at the table. They'll begin with this: a mother who chose herself so her daughter would know she could do the same.